Hey everyone, tonight I'm going to do a quick little video run down my bike collection and my wife's bikes. I was going to do a video, do a little walkthrough of our backyard bike trail, but it's about to start raining. So I figured I'd do this one. I'll start out here at the beginning. This is my 1996 Trek 7000. I converted it to a single speed back when I was in college. I figured it was less likely to get stolen, being a single speed. Currently have a, I can't even tell, Surly Singulator. I had a Soulcraft converter on there, but then somebody else gave me that Surly Singulator. I was having some issues with the converter, but once I actually took it off, cleaned it up, worked fine. Ended up selling it on eBay. It's been a pretty good bike, yeah, for being 24 years old now. Yeah, it's my first real true mountain bike. It has a lug steel frame, or a lugged aluminum frame, where there's no welds or anything. It's actually put together with glue. Trek, at this time, they used glue for their frames for these ones, like the Trek 7000, the Trek 8000, and a couple other ones going up, like there's a 9000 I want to say. And they all had glued aluminum lugs instead of welds. Powder coated frame. It had a RockShox Quad 5 fork on it, which had a whopping roughly maybe 50 millimeters of travel. So not a whole lot of travel. Now here's the original fork. Not much to it. It's just an elastomer rubber dampener on the inside. Nothing fancy, nothing for really adjustability. People would take the dampeners out and cut grooves into them. Try to customize them out that way to get a little more plusher travel. I just left mine as is. But yeah, a whopping roughly 50 millimeters of travel. And that was a suspension fork back in the day. And in the year 2000, I upgraded to this guy. It's another Trek 7000. This one has a Manitou Magnum, or a Manitou SX fork. Manitou SX. I think this is about 70 some odd millimeters of travel. So still nothing like what you have today. I rode this bike a ton in college. I used to do, I think it was Thursday night or Wednesday night, Buck Hill bike races in Buck Hill, Minnesota. Forget the town that it's in. Penn Cycles used to put on this great race. It's now Freewheel Bikes. Recently bought out Penn Cycle. But yeah, this was my next bike that I got, real mountain bike. I love this thing. It was something that I scrimped and saved for a lot more than I did for the purple one. Yeah, this thing was awesome. Still is. Still ride it occasionally to this day. Take it out every now and then for a little ride, just to kind of reminisce about how much things have improved and gotten better, and I don't know, it's kind of fun to take it out. Next we have my first full suspension bike. It's a Trek Feel EX8. I moved to Colorado shortly after graduating from college, and the hardtail just wasn't doing it for me anymore. I was working for the U.S. Forest Service as a seasonal at the time, and then ski resorts. I did Vail one winter and then Winter Park the consecutive winters. In the wintertime, don't make a whole lot of money working at ski resorts in the winter. Being a ski bum is not a life of luxury. So I scrimped and saved again, used my tax return to get this bike, along with a loan from my parents to help cover the difference. I still don't think I've ever paid off that loan. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Yeah, I remember I test rode this bike at my hometown bike shop, Smith's Bike Shop in La Crosse, Wisconsin. I fell in love with it, couldn't afford it. Then that following spring, spring, found this one down in Denver on clearance, last year's model. So I was pretty excited. Last one that they had in stock. Drove down and picked it up. And when I was heading back up to the mountains, I was following a dump truck, and a rock blew off from the dump truck, blew up my windshield, and there went all the savings I got from getting last year's model. Had to get a new windshield when I got home. But I was still pretty stoked. Awesome bike. This thing is a 130, 120 for travel. Has an XTR rear derailleur. Tubeless ready. I never did set it up tubeless because tubeless back in the day wasn't that great still. So I still have tubes in there, but otherwise it's been a great bike. Otherwise I changed out the brakes. I had some Avid brakes on there, which were just a dumpster fire. Swapped them out to some Shimano brakes I bought off of eBay. They were cheap. Alright, next we're going to my fat bike. Last winter, my wife and I got each other some Farleys. We got Farley 5s. This was a Christmas present that we each got each other. And this past winter we studded out our tires. Yeah, I have some Hodags for mine that I got cheap. Some used Hodags that I put on for the summer. I haven't put them on yet. But it's been really fun. Just something to do to get out in the winter time instead of riding the trainer. Helps break up the monotony of winter. Still playing around trying to figure out the whole tire pressure thing. You know, winter it's only a couple months out of the year and you start to kind of figure it out, and then summer comes. And by the next December, you completely forgot what you're doing. You have no clue what to run. Yeah. Next is actually my newest bike. This fall, my wife and I got each other matching Trek Domani SL5s. She has the really awesome looking purple one, and I have this one that's kind of like a flat navy blue with kind of like a gloss blue on the top and the seat stays. This bike has been awesome. I did another video recently where I went over my wife's bike. But yeah, these things have been really fun. Really great bikes. Really enjoy them. Okay, next up is my current mountain bike. It's a 2016 Trek Fuel EX9. This thing's been fun, really fun. 27.5-inch wheels. I was debating on going with the 29-inch, but I went with 27.5 because I'm short and my wife is short and she ended up getting top fuel with 27.5-inch wheels, so that way we just got to carry one tube in our Camelbacks. Keep it simple. Haven't had any problems, but I do think though for my next bike I probably will go with a 29er. My first bike with the dropper post, amazing. I love it. Yeah, this bike has been nothing but smiles. I love it. It's been a really, really fun bike. Also, yeah, 130, 120, nothing too fancy. Changed out the grips to some ergon grips. Otherwise, she's pretty much stock. I've been running the same Bontrager tires, the XR3s that came stock on it. Just been getting new tires as I need them. Haven't had any problems. And yeah, it's been a really fun bike. Just, you know, take care of it, do your annual maintenance with your fork and your shock. Haven't done much maintenance on the dropper post, I will admit, because the maintenance is pretty expensive. And when you add up the cost of doing the annual service on them versus the cost of a new dropper, I'm at that point where I'm just going to run it till it dies and just buy a new one and take that money that I would have spent on the maintenance and just put it towards a new one when it finally does ship to that. Okay, so here we have my wife's first mountain bike. First bike that we bought since we started dating. We were engaged, I think, when we bought this bike. It's a Trek Sky SL. We were living in Rapid City, South Dakota. Don't know if you've ever been there or not, but if you haven't, you should definitely go and bring your bike. It is one of the best places I've ever lived, hands down, for mountain biking. They have a ton of trails in town, a ton of trails in the surrounding area around the National Forest there. Just really, really, really good trails. Pretty long riding season. It's kind of in a nice warm banana belt with warm weather coming up. The Front Range of the Rockies tapers out right around the Rapid City area. Just really good biking. My wife wasn't sure if she was going to like mountain biking or cycling at all really, so she didn't want to spend a whole lot. So we got this bike for her. She test rode quite a few, rode this bike, really enjoyed it. Came back with a big grin on her face and said, "This is the one I want." So started out with this bike. And since then, it's just spiraled out of control. But yeah, this is kind of what started it for her. Okay, up next, we have my wife's mountain bike. It's a 2016 Trek Top Fuel 8. The WSD, Women's Specific design. I don't believe Trek does WSD anymore models. It's just straight bikes. She really likes it, as far as I can tell. It has a Fox 32 up front, Fox float in the rear. This winter we converted it to 1x12. We put Eagle on there, SRAM NX. Thought we'd try that out for her and see how it goes. We had a little problem with getting the rear derailleur, the cable housing and everything quite right and everything, and getting the chain. So we ended up having to take it into our local shop. They helped us out pretty good. For a while we were just texting back and forth, trying to get it figured out because they're more or less shut down right now due to the current health crisis. But we ended up just having to drop it. I was like, yeah, we're stuck. We're not the greatest mechanics by any means. But it's a pretty good bike. She's really liked it. Big upgrade from her first mountain bike. And yeah, I should let her talk about it someday actually. She knows more about it than I do because she's the one that actually rides it. She also has ergon grips. The GA3s, a little bit more of a paddle there. She really seems to like those. I've kind of played around with a bit riding in the yard. Seem like pretty good grips. I might try them out myself. Okay, so up next we have my Kona Jake the Snake. We bought these when we were living in South Dakota, but right before we moved back to Wisconsin. We wanted to hook up our local bike shop back there, Acme Bikes. Really great shop in Rapid City. You should check them out when you're in the neighborhood. We knew we were moving to a fairly rural area with lots of gravel roads. And gravel bikes weren't quite that popular at the time. There weren't many companies making them. So we went with these Jake the Snakes because you could put a pretty wide tire on them. Pretty good for riding gravel. Haven't had any major issues with it yet. This is what really got us into road riding, were these bikes. And they've been a lot of fun. My wife has an identical one, just one frame smaller. And she has hers set up on the trainer, just out of the frame here. Yeah, we pretty much just leave hers set up on the trainer now year round. So when it's crap weather or winter time, we can hop on that and do a little Zwift action. Okay, so next we have this bike here. I won it a couple years back from a local grocery store chain. It's Fixation Bikes out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I believe it's the East Side is the model. This was done with Lakefront Brewing Company. It's a really awesome micro-ish brewery out of Milwaukee. Yeah, I was pretty stoked to win this. It's a fixed gear bike, but it has the flip hub, or you can also have the free hub side. I usually run it in the free hub because I'm just shy of 40 and my knees are kind of not as good as they used to be. So fixed gear can be a little tough on them. If you're ever in Milwaukee, I suggest stopping by Lakefront Brewery. If you do their tour on Fridays, last tour of the day, I think it's at 4 in the afternoon, you usually get the owner doing the tour. So that's kind of fun, actually, having the owner do it. Probably don't ever get the owner of Miller Coors to give you a brewery tour, but yeah, go to Lakefront. It's a pretty great price. And currently, I'm drinking Boss Brewing Company, Elephant on Parade. They're a really good brewery out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. This beer is delicious. Can't get it up here. So any of you folks in Albuquerque that might be watching this, feel free to mail me as much as you can. Okay, so last we have my wife's bike here. It's Felt Bicycles cruiser bike. That's the New Belgium Brewing model fat tire bike. Every year, New Belgium, I guess they come out with a new bike, and they give all their employees that are hired that year that bike. And they also give a lot away through different promotions. And that's how she got this one. The local rock radio station was putting on a fundraiser for the local mountain bike trails. They called it the Tour de Rapide. It was really fun, really fun day. So you showed up at this park around downtown area, you got a cue card sheet type of thing, and you had to go to all these different taverns spread out around town, kind of do like a pub crawl on your bike. And in each bar they had a bike part hidden somewhere inside the tavern. So you had to find the bike part, tell your waiter, waitress, or bartender what the bike part was, where it was hidden, and they'd sign off on your sheet, and then you can go off to the next place. We did that with a couple of our friends from back there. Just an amazingly fun day of just getting out, running around town, and at the end you'd hand in your little cue cards, and they drew a winner from all the people that found so many of the bike parts, and my wife happened to win. It was a pretty fun day. She had this awesome bike. It's just a really fun bike to ride. It has a basket on the front, which is so handy when you just have to go to the grocery store and pick up a couple little things. We have a hardware store a half-mile from our house, so pretty much every weekend in the summer, one of us is taking a quick trip over there to pick up this, that, or the other thing. Yeah, this thing is a blast. It's impossible to not ride this bike and have a smile on your face. It's pretty good. So there you have it. That's pretty much all of our bikes. Didn't go over my wife's fat bike or her Kona because they're identical to the other ones. But there you go. That's currently what we have. Thanks, and have a good one.